A diversifying economy and being accustomed to economic stress over time are two reasons State Auditor Arnie Carlson thinks Duluth is sitting good financially. That news despite economic indicators of the last 4 years, including a population that has fallen 5% and nearly a 10% drop in property values. And yet,
what you find on the plus side is that by and large retail sales, you've beaten the rate of inflation, which is very good. That's a good sign of economic vitality. Building permits show some good signs of growth.
Retail sales up 25% since 1982 have definitely helped, but maintaining a low debt with high reserves are what sets Duluth apart from the struggling farming areas of the state. And it's also what will carry the city through cuts from the federal level, like the loss of revenue sharing.
So there are a lot of complicated problems ahead, but with good financial planning, there's a way out of everything. And what we're seeing so far on the municipal side is that the Minnesota municipality is essentially quite strong, and regardless of the external circumstances, is managing that problem very, very well.
While the economic news about Duluth was encouraging, some municipalities like Silver Bay and Two Harbors, along with many counties, are under severe stress. We'll tell you what the state auditor would like to do to help them tonight at 10. Janet Carvin, Channel 3 News.
The area lift bridge has been a lift bridge since 1929, and until recently, many of the wiring and mechanical parts hadn't been changed since then. Last August, reconstruction began to fix things up.
Steel beams underneath the roadway were replaced, bridge sidewalks, paint job, brand new paint job, and that included sandblasting and painting. That took a rather long time. All new drive systems, electric cabling, brand new pilot house, state-of-the-art equipment.
Suspension cables and operating ropes were also added. The only thing travelers may not like is the increased operation time. If an excursion boat goes under the bridge, for example, instead of taking 4 minutes to raise and lower the bridge, it will now take 5.5. Operators say the delay is due to increased safety measures.
You know, the old bridge is still there. It's still the same old familiar landmark. It's just, it's all brand new operating machinery and everything else.
Bridge work is complete, but work on the pier under the bridge isn't, so late-night construction will continue indefinitely. Lisa Molosky, Channel 3 News.
The announcement by Superior Mayor Bruce Hagan confirmed rumors.
We are at this moment announcing to confirm the announcement, I should say, and announce that Garanetti Mills is moving to the city of Superior.
Superior officials have decided to sell the building Gino Paolucci donated last spring, intended to be an incubator building for new businesses. Douglas County will provide a $150,000 loan to Garin Mills from its revolving loan fund.
As the mayor says, we feel this will give Garin an opportunity to expand and grow in Superior and provide jobs for the entire area.
Paolucci says he's glad this former building of his will finally be used, but Duluth officials are not pleased and could make it hard for Garin Mills. Duluth loaned Garin Mills $350,000 so long as the company provide jobs for low and middle income Duluthians. Garin Mills also has $60,000 worth of tax credits. This site in Superior will cost Garin Mills $120,000 in tax penalties alone if they move here. There's one final hitch. Since Duluth loaned the money to Garin Mills specifically for equipment, the city must also give its approval before the equipment can be moved here. In Superior, Kathleen Chalikian, Channel 3 News.
The Duluth Depot annually runs up a utility bill of over $100,000, and until now, St. Louis County has paid for it. But today, St. Louis County Commissioners said that's going to stop. All agencies funded by the county have been ordered to cut their budgets by at least 20%. 20% for the depot is about $25,000, but that's just the going rate for 1987. Commissioners would eventually like the depot to pay the entire utility bill.
It would have a dramatic and material impact on our budget that we would be in a terribly poor position to absorb with 3 months' notice in a single year.
The commissioners have also asked the depot board to consider buying the depot from the county, but representatives from the depot board made no commitment on either suggestion today.
We really haven't had time to evaluate that very much, and it's going to take a lot of evaluation from our part.
The depot's board of directors doesn't have a full board meeting until next Wednesday, so the county board won't likely get any kind of an answer until after that meeting. Lisa Molosky, Channel 3 News.
The action by the county board means 3 daycare centers in Duluth and 1 on the range will close permanently. Almost 200 children use the facilities daily. The county board's action was necessary to save money.
The bottom line net reductions are going to be $551,000 and 31 staff positions.
For parents of the children in county daycare, news of the closings couldn't have been worse.
That means I can't start school up at Votech in March.
Why?
I won't have a daycare for him or my daughter. They were planning on taking her either in December or January.
But social services officials say all is not lost.
I do believe we're going to be able to help these parents find adequate daycare, although it may not be in the center of their choice.
The county will continue to subsidize some of the daycare through private centers. In fact, it's cheaper for the county to do that, saving about $10 per child per day. There was better news today for 2 senior centers in Duluth. After cutting funding for the Tri-Towers and West End centers, Seleznikar made a plea to keep them open, saying 14,000 seniors use the centers. That was enough for commissioners. Late today, funding was reinstated. The board will continue to look for other cost-cutting measures. They say nothing is safe from the budget acts as they try to maintain services while making cuts in what many say is the worst county budget crisis ever. Kurt Ludlow, Channel 3 News.
A year from now, motorists on northbound I-35 will have a new place to stop, stretch their legs, and use the restrooms. The stop will be called the William Culkin Memorial Rest Area in honor of a past civic leader.
He was a state senator for one term. He was, before he moved to the Duluth area, he was a Wright County attorney in Wright County, Minnesota for 3 terms. When he moved to northeastern Minnesota, President Theodore Roosevelt appointed him as the registrar of the Duluth Land Office.
The Culkin family donated 135 acres to the state of Minnesota for the purpose of building this rest stop. Just over 10 acres will be cleared to accommodate parking lots, the main building, and picnic areas. Much of the rest will remain a birch forest with nature trails.
Behind the building, there's going to be a walkway that'll be a bituminous surface walk that'll take us back through a scenic overlook platform back there, and there'll be a nice overlook hopefully back there eventually.
In addition to serving motorists heading to Duluth, the Culkin stop will also serve those bound for the Iron Range and International Falls via Highways 33 and 53. It's expected to be completed by next fall. Michelle Lee, Channel 3 News.
Shvarim.
Rosh Hashanah began at dusk last night. It will last through tomorrow. It's considered the most important time in the Hebrew calendar.
This is a time when we stop and look at our lives and see what shape they have and try and do better. It's basically a period of spiritual stock taking.
The ceremony begins with the blowing of a ram's horn. During the time of the Bible, the horn was used as an alarm to arouse people. That's still the principle behind its use today.
Then it was taken over into the synagogue later on as a means of having people spiritually wake up. Don't be complacent. It says, examine your deeds and see what you have done and do better in the future.
The ceremony continues with readings from the Torah. It's the oldest section of the Bible. It's a handwritten scroll taken from writings at least 2,500 years old.
Because this commandment, Asher Anochi Mitzavacha Hayom, which I command you today, it is very precious to us. It contains our oldest writings, and we read it at morning services throughout the high holy days, particularly on the New Year and the Day of Atonement.
Atonement Day will come later this month when Yom Kippur is celebrated. For now, Jews are happily celebrating their New Year, the year 5747 in the Hebrew calendar.
To listen to his voice.
Last December, 115 West Duluth families were told they were going to have to move. Lake Superior paper mill officials needed their land to make room for a 92-acre plant, and today residents toured the site, an area they once knew as home.
Well, I'm glad that it's making good use of this area, you know, finding jobs for people, and it looks progressive.
We think that the people who were displaced from this area have, you know, kind of a vested interest in it. And we just think, you know, if we were the people who were displaced, how would we like to be treated? And so we thought that this was an appropriate way to recognize that.
Sam Francisco lived in his West Side home for 44 years. He was ready for retirement, had his home fixed up by adding aluminum siding and a new roof, only to find out he had to start all over again. But despite his inconvenience, the mill, he says, will be good for the area.
We need the jobs. Everybody will go along with that. And I think everybody that moved out of the neighborhood is pretty well satisfied now.
Residents say they are now settled in their new homes, most living only about a mile from their former house. And they say the short distance move will be well worth the long-term effects the paper mill site will have on the area. Linda Hammond, Channel 3 News.
But as far as the story content...
What the prosecution finds so frustrating about this case is that it never ends.
There is a principle of finality in the law, and that says that you do get one good direct appeal to the highest appellate court available, and once you have exhausted that the decision is final, and that's what's so frustrating about now starting up again on really insufficient grounds to begin with.
Race was convicted by a St. Louis County jury 3 years ago for the murder of his wife, Deborah. His new attorney is asking Judge Jack Littman to vacate that conviction and order a new trial. David Larson contends his 36-year-old client was denied his constitutional rights during his trial in Duluth.
Contentions in the post-conviction petition are that the decision here to not testify was a decision that Larry didn't make. It was made by his attorney. And that's a decision that an attorney can't make.
Race testified today that he was confused when the decision not to testify was made, that he didn't understand what was going on. That testimony comes despite the court records showing that Race told the judge in chambers at the time of the trial that he did understand.
It was covered clearly, in my opinion, and adequately, and the defendant at that time, Larry Race, decided he was going to not testify at his trial.
This man did not testify today. He was Race's first attorney, William Malem. Prosecutor John DeSanto was granted a continuance today to decide whether to subpoena Malem to tell his side of the story. That may happen November 4th when the hearing takes up again.
Continued support for him. Yeah. You know, with his in-laws and...
Larry Race is serving a life sentence for killing his wife 4 years ago during a boat ride on Lake Superior. A St. Louis County jury found him guilty of first-degree murder. His new attorney is asking the court to vacate that conviction and order a new trial because Race had been denied his constitutional right to testify.
Larry's testimony today was that he assumed and believed up until the time that he was supposed to get up and testify that he was going to. And then the decision was taken from him, or perhaps he believed he never had it. I guess that's more in line with what I think the transcript would reflect.
Prosecutor John DeSanto says the record is clear that Race intelligently and knowingly waived his right to testify at the trial, and he believes the court system has been just.
I have no doubt about it, absolutely. He had received a fair trial. He was adequately and properly represented by an attorney who he, again, had retained for over a year and a half, even before trial, who knew the case well, who prepared it well, who presented it adequately and properly. And that issue went to the Minnesota Supreme Court originally. Did he have competent counsel? They said on the record that he was not denied a fair trial by incompetent counsel. So that issue's already been resolved too.
This man was not at today's hearing. He's William Malum. The man Race says ordered him not to testify at his trial. Malum may get the chance to challenge Race's story. That's because the prosecution has asked for a delay in proceedings to decide whether to subpoena Malum. The hearing continues November 4th. Michelle Lee, Channel 3 News.
I think we're getting close to wrap up, and it's always fun at this time. Too bad guys weren't here to so-called pass on the torch. This time. Too much black. Here's another one.
Wow. Stepka, who's in charge of the committee, said, be sure that you all prepare something because for sure it'll be one of you. And Brian said, why don't we just get together and write one and I'll pass it around. And Brian left his notes in the hotel, so I did bring a couple of things here. What a thrill. What a joy. What an honor to be chosen by my colleagues to represent them. There are, though, some very special people in my family that are here, and I'd like to share them with you. Contact with students and others that there are specific.
A quiet city park now has a river rushing through it. 5 inches of rain in Rochester turned roads into canals and parks into giant puddles. Police closed roads, including a 20-mile stretch of Highway 14 that runs between Rochester and Owatonna. More than a foot of water covered the highway and several intersections in town.
We'll be doing a cut-in and an advisory update. This will be for live broadcast use. Thank you.
At the Olmsted County Law Enforcement Center, crews worked around the clock tracking the storm and keeping the public informed.
Well, I think it'd save somebody else some problems. If that's at all possible, I'd appreciate it.
Workers here say they haven't seen a flood like this since 1978.
The smaller creeks, of course, with this kind of rainfall explode. You know, they just come up, and if you have a home that is on the bank of the smaller creek, you're in big trouble.
At 4 o'clock this morning, officials sounded evacuation sirens. That brought nearly 200 people here to a convent high on a hill in the northeastern part of town. Nuns gave the evacuees a place to stay and a hot meal. Most left by mid-afternoon to check the damage done to their homes. Nuns say they expect many back tonight. Nancy Pater and her daughter Sonia spent the day cleaning up the floating debris in their basement. Nearly a foot of water flooded their home. They knew they were in trouble last night.
We just heard the thunder and the storms all night long, and I just kept getting up and looking out the dining room windows and watching the water rise out of the creek and wondering how soon before my basement flooded.
Officials believe it could take several days before the water levels drop. But with more rain in the forecast, they fear the worst may be yet to come. With John Seidlitz, Cindy Hilger, WCCO Television News, Rochester. Ashland's new Hotel Chequamegon is a recollection of a grand building with almost the same name. The Chequamegon Hotel stood not far away from the current site over a century ago. This $2 million development is also a dream that Don Smith, one of the general partners, has had for 20 years.
Well, originally my thoughts go back to my days when I was at the Ashland Daily Press, and the circulation manager for the paper always spoke that this would be a great site and a great location for a nice hotel.
The hotel is not identical to the first Queen Anne-style structure, but there are striking similarities. The floor-to-ceiling mantelpiece in the parlor, just like the original parlor, and accommodations for huge banquets, as the original hotel was known for. But this hotel will also be a museum of local history.
When we decided to go with this reflection of the Chequamegon Hotel, we also took our 18 suite rooms and named them after the 18 regional communities of Washburn, LaPointe, Phillips, Park Falls, Hayward, whatever it might be.
While the hotel is already open, Smith watches some of the finishing touches being made.
The wall and floor surfaces were in such dynamic proportions that it's just taking more time to finish the woodwork and whatever.
In Ashland, Kathleen Chalikian, Channel 3 News. In 1877, Ashland was to be a playground for the wealthy, and the Chequamegon Hotel opened up its doors to the famous, such as John D. Rockefeller and President William Jennings Bryan. But this monument to capitalism burned in 1913, ending an age of elegant tourism. Today, the grandeur of Victorian Ashland is back, and a new Hotel Chequamegon is open for business.
We wanted to bring out a sense of recollection. We have for ourselves maybe certain visual landmarks that bring to us a sense of quality or a sense of tradition.
This hotel is not a replica of the old, but it has many similarities, such as a large fireplace mantelpiece and bedrooms with 12-foot-high ceilings.
I think Webster defines it best in the dictionary. He says that a hotel is a place of social gathering for business and pleasure, and that is probably one of the things we tried to do the most here.
While the hotel is open, many of the finishing touches are still carefully being put into place, just in time for their booked solid reservations this Applefest weekend. In Ashland, Kathleen Chalikian, Channel 3 News.
A female Duluth resident and a Minneapolis man, both in their 30s, were arrested on charges of conspiracy to manufacture drugs. Authorities wouldn't say exactly where the arrest took place, but it's believed to be in this area, off Highway 53 near Three Lakes.
Officials say they found weapons and money here in rural Cotton, but a liquid substance was also found. Officials say they found acetone, a liquid which is used to make illegal drugs.
The acetone was put in 2 pickup trucks and taken to the Air National Guard base in Duluth.
We have a safe location. The building is secure, and the building is certainly safe. For example, if the materials have hazardous fumes with them, the materials will be safe in this building.
Acetone is believed to have a strong odor, but it's only dangerous if it's ingested. Acetone is also an ingredient of paint remover. Because of the importance of this drug case, St. Louis County officials wouldn't comment on it today, but interim Sheriff Charles Berquist will hold a press conference tomorrow. Meanwhile, the 2 arrested are being held in the St. Louis County Jail. They're expected to be arraigned on Tuesday. Linda Hammond, Channel 3 News.
Emergency fire, police, and ambulance. Can I help you?
Yes, there's been a fire at my house.
You have a fire in your home?
Yes.
What is your address, please?
Learning how to react when there is a fire is so easy a child can do it. But every year, millions of lives and dollars are lost because people don't know how to react in the event of a fire. Fire Prevention Week started today, nationwide, to teach people what to do. Locally, the Duluth Fire Department will have a booth at the Miller Hill Mall all week with demonstrations and a simulated burning house. According to fire officials, the 2 best preventions of a fire are the easiest.
Common sense would probably prevent the majority of our fires.
Our most recent surveys indicate that only about 40% of homes have smoke detectors. And that's why we still maintain 5,000 to 7,000 people a year killed in house fires. Most of them are killed by the smoke. They never see the fire.
Officials say the deadly smoke from a fire kills more people than the flames do. Yet less than half the family dwellings in this country have smoke detectors.
The big thing that we want to make sure that everyone has a smoke detector that operates in their homes. And that's the cheapest life insurance you can get.
The focus of this year's Prevention Week is Operation Edith, which stands for Exit Drills in the Home. According to officials, the home is the most dangerous place for a fire.
The home is actually the most dangerous place that you're going to spend your time You know, at workplace and stuff, you have safety meetings and safety committees, and then you try to be careful at home. You come home and just relax. And we still want you to come home and relax, but we also want you to do it safely.
Each year at this time, fire departments across the nation preach the same life-saving message, that with some common sense and a little precaution, most house fires can be avoided. But each year, millions of lives are lost and thousands of homes like this are destroyed due to carelessness. Catherine O'Keefe, Channel 3 News.
This is where the drugs were made. The drug producers were using this house in Shaw near Cotton as a factory.
St. Louis County officials say its remoteness made the drug making easy, but obviously not easy enough for the two arrested. The Duluth woman and Twin Cities man had only been making illegal drugs here for several months when on Saturday a search warrant was issued.
We considered the initial entry to be a high-risk entry. These type of labs now are notorious for booby traps and for violent people. There's money involved, there's money to be made, and it's certainly protected.
The drug makers were producing methamphetamine, a type of speed. This is the first time ever in this area that a drug lab has been searched and broken down. Officials called it a very sophisticated operation.
It seems that this was a sophisticated operation. It was large, the equipment was modern, expensive, and it seemed like they knew what they were doing.
During their weekend search, county officials confiscated more than 2 vanfuls of paraphernalia.
Mostly assorted different chemicals, which are yet to be analyzed by the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension Lab in St. Paul, and a lot of chemical equipment, such as flasks and heating mantles, glass beakers, and that.
Most of the liquid found at the scene was acetone, a liquid used to make illegal drugs. That will be sent to St. Paul for investigation. Meanwhile, the 2 people arrested in connection with the drug factory will be arraigned in county court tomorrow. Linda Hammond, Channel 3 News.
Round heating flask, and the metal part is just a round flask like that, and the metal part is a heater for it. What's the name of that? Triple neck round. The filtering and breathing mask. That's pretty indicative. Yes.
Is acetone actually...
Does that help a little bit? And we're out in the open air.
Yeah, and Duluth help, that's right.
Of our office, yes. Yeah, great.
How many guys did you have out there at the time? 10 or 12?
I love ya.
Give me a flavor.
Huh?
Do me a flavor.
No.
Take a drive that for me.
No.
Step to the house.
eliminate jobs. It's a terrible thing. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Happening with this local level is so terrible.
That's why.
It's so much easier to experience in college in Washington and send letters out and say, yeah, some states do that. That's how they fund their programs. They get a lot of programs that way. But the user fee is kind of what you have to do.
But I could definitely.
Go right ahead.
I was on TV we were walking on a pier one time, and I don't know where they had the camera, the wife and I, and everybody said, we saw you on TV. I said, no.
They forget.
Or maybe they can't afford it.
Well, they can't afford it, some of them. But,
Think of social services immediately. 6 weeks these days is very another one.
That's why have everybody you know come.
Get that up.
okay, ready? Now, huh? Doesn't really tell us that. You're not ready for another one right away. And what do you lose a pound by doing that? That's the best part of it. But you gain it back in 24 hours.
Right now, it looks like a bunch of dirt roads and hills out at the Miller Hill Mall. It may even be an inconvenience to some shoppers who are dodging work trucks and planted signs. But next year, say mall officials, the inconvenience will probably be well worth it for both customers and the economy.
And I believe that with the addition of Sears and the 40 or more stores that are going to be in the connector between the present mall and the Sears building, that's just going to bring more people to shop in Duluth.
Management and owners say they also plan to refurbish the mall inside and out. Melvin Simon and Associates are the owner of the Miller Hill Mall. They started construction last April, and it's unanimous among owners and management.
The people of Duluth deserved more shopping privilege.
Despite the several weeks of rain delay, officials say the new additions will open on schedule. Consumers can expect to start shopping in the new stores in the fall of 1987, just in time for the Christmas season. Linda Hammond, Channel 3 News.
Hundreds of people have already passed through this one-week clinic in Park Falls, where most of the houses built by Tri-State Homes are located. 3 different groups are passing through here for lung, allergy, blood, and other tests. About 100 Tri-State families were asked by the governor's task force to participate in a health study. Another 100 families who don't live in Tri-State Homes were asked to take the same tests as a statistical control sample. The third group are walk-ins who live in Tri-State Homes and have health problems.
There have been many health complaints associated with Tri-State Homes. They've included lung problems, skin problems, and allergy problems, for example, but have been really filling the gamut of possible health concerns.
A growing number of Tri-State Homes, like this one in Mercer, have rot problems because their energy-saving construction traps in moisture. Besides damaging the homes, mold and mildew can cause health problems.
One of the things that we've been trying to encourage is increased ventilation in the homes. And in the materials that were sent to homeowners, we have indicated that we feel that's very important.
For many Tri-State homeowners, this is the first step in alleviating their health concerns. While they won't have the results until December, they at least feel better knowing something is being done. In Park Falls, Kathleen Chalikian, Channel 3 News.
Phil Lundberg has been raising birds for about 7 years, and his collection has grown from 3 to over 50. Most of them are finches, but he also has about 6 parrots. Lundberg has always enjoyed birds, but it wasn't until 1979 that he decided to put them to work.
I think initially it was a business idea. I was looking for a gimmick, some type of thing that would set me apart from the rest of the laundromats in the city.
The birds have increased business at the Chester Park Laundromat at least 25%, although Lundberg does admit some people find an occasional feather or two a bit offensive. The finches are kept in a long cage above the washers and dryers, but the parrots are brought out from separate cages when Lundberg is nearby to keep an eye on them. He says birds are very affectionate, and finches, for example, can be purchased for as little as $5 or $10.
Birds are excellent companions, particularly for older people. Older people like something that will talk to them sometimes. It will just be a friend and things you can, take out and go for a walk with.
Lundberg feels a laundromat should be a fun place to go, but even if you don't like birds, a trip to the Chester Park Laundromat will at least be an interesting one. Lisa Molosky, Channel 3 News.
Well over 200 dogs find their way to the Duluth Animal Shelter each month. Some are reclaimed by their owners, others are adopted, but well over half have to be destroyed.
These numbers can be drastically cut if would-be pet owners use common sense.
There are a lot of costs involved, such as the vet care, spay and neutering,
giving it love and attention.
Selecting an animal shouldn't be made on the spur of the moment. Remember, once selected, the animal becomes a member of your family, a member that may be around for 10 to 15 years. Once you've accepted that fact, you should then take stock of your situation and attempt to find the proper match.
You have to look at the temperament of your family, you have to look at the temperament of the breed of the animal, and if you're a real active family that's on the go a lot, maybe a more active dog would be good for you. Otherwise, if you're more like an older person who really can't get out and exercise the dog properly, a smaller breed dog that can get enough exercise just going on the short walks with you would be good.
This little girl's about 8 weeks old. She's a collie mix. She's quite lovable and pretty frisky. As a matter of fact, the other day she walked into the local police headquarters here in Duluth and turned herself in. Now, believe it or not, that's a true story.
Another truth, there are beautiful, loving animals waiting to be adopted. For details, contact your local animal shelter or humane society. Michelle Lee, Channel 3 News.
Police still haven't released the name of the man or the reason why he climbed the smokestack of the Duluth steam plant in the downtown district. But the man was intoxicated when firefighters began their rescue shortly after 9 last night, and after an hour and a half of trying, it became evident to rescuer Lawrence Harvey that this would be no easy job.
I'm getting tired. It's getting old.
But after 3 hours, Harvey managed to wear the man out.
He was tired, and his legs were giving out on him. He was getting, they were shaking, I suppose, from climbing up and down. He went up and down quite a few times. He never really said why he was up there. And he didn't really say, I'm going to jump or anything like that. He might have talked around it, but the way he was saying it, he could have been meaning something else. So I can't say that he was talking about that.
Police smuggled the man out of the side door of the plant to protect his identity. The incident is still under investigation. John Schottel, Channel 3 News.
Among other things, the county extension agent helps fund the county 4-H camp near Lake Esquagama. More than $300,000 cut last week from the agent's budget was given back after appeals from officials and people who use the services.
There will be no 4-H youth programs. There will be no ag pork programs as such as we know them today, home ec and all the others that follow through with it.
Proponents told commissioners the devastating effect of the cuts would be felt across the county, where agricultural needs abound.
Extension is not a mandated program. There are a number of programs that are not mandated. I have a feeling, however, that extension in St. Louis County right now is an essential program.
Supporters said there's only one way to find the money for such a program.
My solution is raise my taxes, for God's sake. I'd rather live in a good county with good people than in a county where the 4-H kids aren't going to 4-H. They're knocking the windows out of the schoolhouse.
Commissioners admitted some cuts will likely be made in the extension budget. There aren't many county programs which are expected to receive all the money asked for. As the budget sessions continue tomorrow, commissioners will once again have to be deciding how much is too much in cuts and in funding. Kurt Ludlow, Channel 3 News.
They gathered today to let Madison know again they want Highway 53 completed. They also want an even greater state commitment to tourism and other development here. Today's group of 35 people is 3 times as large as last year's organizational group. Superior Mayor Bruce Hagan and County Supervisor Frank Boyle will head the 1987 delegation.
We invite the entire community to participate, and we've got a great cross-section of folks from the community here today. And whatever direction this group wants to go, that's the direction we're going to go.
Last March, 100 people from Douglas County spent 2 days with legislators in Madison. Their goal, to raise downstate interest in county needs and interests. Today's group set March 10th and 11th for the next effort.
I think that by March of next year that this community will have an agenda of items that are either included in the budget or those items that they are pursuing in the neighborhood of tourism promotion, economic development, and transportation related, such as Highway 53.
The group also agreed to draft a letter to Republican gubernatorial candidate Tommy Thompson, asking him for a commitment to finish Highway 53 if he's elected in November. Most importantly, the Superior Days group wants to invite legislators and other government officials up here next year to bridge the gap between the northern and southern halves of the state. In Superior, Kathleen Chalikian, Channel 3 News. After this work is
Commissioners restored funding for many of the programs cut last week. Most of those so-called quality of life services are now set to be funded about 20% less than they were last year. Still no money, though, for county daycare centers, even after parents again pleaded for help.
I'm not the kind of person that would give up, yet I feel these kinds of things, when you hear the negative sides of it, it makes you wonder what's next.
Commissioners spent the day adding money to and taking it away from the budget, even voting to sell the county health department space at Millard Wan Hospital. The hospital will buy the space for $1 million. Despite the massive budget cutbacks, the net result of all their action is a 9.5% tax increase. For Duluth property owners, that means a jump of almost $33 in property taxes on a $40,000 house. On the range, with the taconite tax credit, the taxes will jump roughly $20. Commissioners want to stress it's time for many county programs to seek alternate funding.
And I think the board is very clear today in stating to some that they have maybe a 3-year reprieve. 3 years from now, they should not anticipate that the county is going to be funding their program because we simply don't have the dollars to do it, and we don't see having them in the future.
Commissioners won't meet again until next Friday. At that time, any necessary changes will be made in the budget so the tax levy can be set. The 1987 county budget will become final after that. Kurt Ludlow, Channel 3 News.
My knowledge of computers is extremely limited, so last night was an education for me. For Dave Guerin, music and painting is relaxation. He does not set up an easel and canvas or get out paints and brushes. It's all done by directing the computer to apply or delete the thousands of colors on his palette. And the composing? Well, think of the computer as a tape recorder. You play, the computer records, then you can add, subtract, and alter your composition.
I have the potential to add as many sounds as I want. This is one synthesizer. This is called a digital sampling keyboard. I could take your mic, plug you into this, have you say something, and then play you back in 8-part harmony.
One person has the ability to sound like a symphony orchestra, and it would be tough to discern the reproduction from the real thing. Even the musical interpretation is there.
You can program that feeling into the computer, too. It's only playing back what you've played into it.
These programs have been available for years. Movie producers make great use of the synthesizers and computers. Home use is less typical because of the cost factor. There are some fears, too, that musicians will be hurt by this high-tech mechanization of a very human art form.
I think what you're seeing as far as actual performers out there using this equipment is they're using it to enhance what they're already doing. They're not just using these machines and standing back there pretending to play, and in essence tape is playing, it's all pre-recorded.
There is no doubt that this creative tool will continue to play a major role in the fields of music and art, but more as an enhancement. People can never be replaced. Someone still needs to push the buttons.
1 year into the campaign, the University of Minnesota has raised more than half of the $300 million goal. Of that, UMD is responsible for $12.5 million by 1988, by far the largest effort ever undertaken here in Duluth.
$12.5 million is a very ambitious goal, but we think that UMD has to be ambitious and has to, we have to work very hard to maintain the quality institution we have now and improve. I think if you don't progress, you just can't stay and be a quality institution.
We are in the process right now of visiting with and calling and sending letters to alumni all across the country, communicating with them about the goals of the campaign and asking for them to increase their support of the university. And if they've never contributed, now's the time to do that.
UMD has raised $3.6 million thus far, with faculty and staff pledging $350,000. And Kavanaugh thinks within 6 months the halfway mark may be reached. But private donations must carry the public institution through.
The strength of UMD is very important to the future of this region and our communities. And so we feel that gifts to the university are investments in the future of the area.
Tonight at 10, what UMD will do with the $12.5 million. Janet Carvinen, Channel 3 News.
For the past 4 years, this bus has transported passengers from Thunder Bay to Duluth with stops in between, servicing the residents of North Shore communities such as Two Harbors, Silver Bay, and Grand Marais. Today's bus brought in 6 passengers. To support the service, 15 passengers are needed.
I would be real hard-pressed to believe this company is doing anything but losing big money on this run.
The Duluth Thunder Bay route is a losing proposition. It's been one since Triangle Transportation took over from the now-defunct Northern Transportation Company. Northern went under when it lost its state subsidy. Triangle managed to keep the route going with profits from its other bus routes, but with high insurance rates, a devalued dollar, and cheap airfares, it's time to cut losses. Services will end November 1st.
Yes, from what I understand, because many people want to go from Silver Bay to Two Harbors even on occasion. They're going to be in a bind.
Driver Phil Smith says he has the option to transfer to another run with Triangle, but after 18 years behind the wheel of the big buses, he fears the loss of this run may be a symptom of a dying industry.
People are married to their cars. The buses don't offer the convenience that car transportation does. It doesn't offer the speed that airlines, or the economy for that matter, that airlines do, and it's going to take some time. It's efficient, it's energy efficient, and forces people to get next to each other, but that's not in right now.
So far, no other company has expressed interest in the run. Michelle Lee, Channel 3 News.